Hello everybody, welcome to part 2 of 78 facts about Ultraman X. If you didn't watch part 1, there's a link in the description below. There we covered about behind the scenes and the characters as well. This time we'll be looking a little bit more about the KAIJU and the Ultraman X movie. All of the cyber KAIJU have a common trait in their design. Somewhere on their body is an X. Most of them have it on the chest, but Cyber Bermustar has it on his neck. They did consider having the Geo members controlling each of their own kaiju, like Cyber Eleking and Cyber Bermustar, a bit like Pokemon. Molten Iron Monster Demogar, the kaiju that appears in the first episode, was based on a monster called Bagirasu that was featured in a movie that Toku created while he was a high school student. Demaga was meant to just shoot fireballs from his mouth, but the open and close function on his mouth broke during filming, so they changed it so he had the ability to shoot it from anywhere on his body. They knew from the beginning that Demaga would reappear in a powered up form, so his suit was created from the start to have additional parts added to him, but also have the ability to switch it back to normal afterwards. Mecha Guardian Beast Rudan is remodeled off of Alien Reflect from Ultraman Mebius. Originally a gold-coloured version of Impalazar was going to appear instead, but as he had numerous appearances in the past few years since Mebius, it was updated to be a new monster entirely. In the first draft of the script, Gargorgon in episode 6 was meant to turn X into stone and fly up into space, demanding Earth surrender within 44 hours instead of 44 minutes. During that time, X would have stayed petrified, but the staff thought, wouldn't it be a little strange that his co-workers didn't notice his absence, so they changed it from hours to minutes. Gugogo was one of the first names it had, but director Takanori Sugimoto thought the name was a little bit too cute. Speaking of which, its design is based on the female snake creature Gorgon from Greek mythology. They wanted it to have a female figure, so its waist was made slender. It was originally going to speak, but Sugimoto thought it was a little bit too uncomfortable, so it conveyed its words without opening its mouth. In the last episode, they did consider having several Gargordians appear under Grisa's control, who would absorb humans and kaiju that it turned into stone. The scope of the effects required would have been a little bit too grand, and so they couldn't do it. The immobile monster Hulinga. Its name has basis from the Japanese myth of Hori, who was worshipped by many as the god of cereal and grain. Originally for that episode, extra-dimensional monster Cloudus from Ultraman Max was going to appear. The new monster was going to be called Hirokonda, using the motif of Ibisu, the Japanese god of fishermen and luck, who was born without bones. They shelved this because they were worried that it would remind viewers of 1990's Hiroko Yokai Hunter, a graphic horror movie. The body part of the costume was remodeled from parasitic space creature Pengeria from Ultra 7X, and the face flower was appropriated from space plant monster Soricha from Ultraman Mebius. Director Koichi Sakamoto wanted to have both Asuna and Erisa from Ginga S fighting a villain together as an action heroine duo, but they were unable to prepare a suit for Phantom Space Queen Ginga Spectre. So instead, Sakamoto requested Minami Sukui, who was known for action. We also did an interview with her and she's awesome. Please check it out, up in the corner here. Originally they didn't plan for Ginga to appear at all, but just somebody else. Her costume was remade from Harlan from Ultra Galaxy Daikaiju Battle Never Ending Odyssey. Man, that title is so long. The suit from Phantom Space Great King Mold Spectre was borrowed from his brother Judah that appeared in Ultra Fight Victory. Only the mask was made completely anew. Grisa's name originated from the English words glee and greed. Taguchi made Grisa in a way to recreate his own childhood trauma of seeing Zeton from the original series in the last episode. The character's image was meant to resemble a god of sorts. The prop of the first form of Grisa was remodeled from Neo Ultra Q's Purana. They based his second form's way of movement like Buto, a form of Japanese theatre, and it's really freaky. The final form of Grisa was created in the image of Kaiju Blanca from Assault Human, a TV show from 1972. Kensuke Takahashi said he had problems while filming the giant monster scenes as there was no giant kaiju in front of him to act against. This required him to have a sense of imagination. Another issue for Takahashi was that he was born in Shitamachi, which primarily uses the Shitamachi dialect compared to the rest of Tokyo, which uses the Yamanote dialect. Shitamachi is considered a working class dialect from the Edo period. Yamanote's dialect and Shitamachi can be compared to British received pronunciation, which is considered British standard, and Cockney in English. Cockney is actually my accent, but I have to keep on putting this British standard on. In short, he had to be careful with the inflection of tone at the end of sentences. Takahashi never had any scenes with Yu Kamiya outside of the base, except when he was dishing out orders to the team. Takahashi wanted to watch him act, so he visited the set on days off to see him perform. He said that he wasn't going as the main star, but as himself, wanting to see. Takahashi watched Dinah and Tigger as a child. He fondly remembers how he would imitate Dinah's henshin pose. Talking about creating the transformation, he knew kids at home would try to imitate him, so at first he thought that it would be better for Daichi to look cool. But despite Daichi transforming into X to combat Kaiju, Daichi's goal was to have humans and Kaiju living together in peace, so he decided a more lively transformation would be better. In the end, Takahashi talked about it with the director, and he explained that the Zadan Ray was a tranquilizing attack. Ultraman Nexus makes its return in the wonderful episode 20. The episode was directed by Yuichi Abe, who worked on Nexus in 2004. At the time, he wrote his name in kanji, which is Japanese characters, integrated into the Japanese language. After working on a television drama called Platinum Age with a director of the same name, his credited name was changed to be written in katakana, which is used primarily for foreign or loan words. When he directed episode 20 of X, he was credited as the kanji version of his name, as that was what he used when he worked on Nexus. And just to be more confusing, Abe actually directed other episodes of X, but actually used the katakana version of his name. His hero, our Ultraman, is the title of the X movie, which is the last line of lyrics of the original show, Ultraman no Uta. They even say this line in the movie when Ultraman is appearing for the first time. In the planning stages, they did have a draft to have Tsukasa, played by Takami Yoshimoto from Ultraman Tigger, to become Tigger herself instead of her son. Carlos Kurosaki, the adventurous TV host, was considered to turn into evil Tigger for the movie as well. They felt this would have been a little bit too much like episode 44 of Tigger, so they rejected it. The original name for the movie was Final Unite. After filming wrapped up, the cast were asked how they would like to return back in another Ultraman project. Takahashi said that he wanted a 180-degree flip and try to be evil Daichi and speak rough, a bit like his real accent. Of course, I wanted him to ultimately be returned back to normal, but a temporary brainwashing role would be good. His other castmates said that they would like to become Gio's commanding officer. Skifume replied, "Yeah, then I want you to place a morning portrait of me on my desk." And that is 78 facts about Ultraman X. Please do let us know in the comments below which series you would like to see us tackling next. If you want to support the channel, you can like and comment and subscribe. And if you donate $5 a month to our Patreon, you get early access to these videos. Thank you for watching.